the first lesson has been that it is not easy to create a brand. Uh, I think quick commerce has just changed the game. It has democratized the entire supply chain. Where we are priced higher than competition is where there is no competition. People's willingness to experiment has gone up significantly. It is just the momentum to get from 0 to 1 is way harder than from 1 to 100. It was a lot. It was a lot. I think I aged 5 years in those 5 months before we launched. It's a lot of fun to actually be in the industry right now.
Hi everyone. Ice cream brand Hocco is one of the fastest growing startups in the FMCG space. In its first year, 23-24, it did sales of 30 crore rupees. Then last year, 24-25, it 7x that, jumping to 220 crore rupees. And this year, it plans to more than double sales and hit 500 crore rupees. Today, we are interviewing Ankit Chona, the founder of Hocco, and a third generation food entrepreneur. Now, Ankit's story is unusual in that this is his second life in the ice cream industry. Until 2017, he headed Havmor, the family ice cream business, which they sold in 2017 to a South Korean company for more than 1,000 crore rupees. What drew Ankit back to the ice cream industry? And why are sales booming post COVID? Let's ask Ankit. Yeah, hi Ankit. Welcome to the show. I'm very glad that you're here. And I must tell you, I've got so many questions that I'm going to dive into it straight away.
Sure.
Okay, because we have only so much time and I have like 100
Thanks
questions.
for having me. I hope I can answer most of them.
I'm sure you will. Okay, so just to sum it up for our viewers, you're a third generation food entrepreneur. You helped the exit of your family from the Havmor ice cream business. That was in 2017, right? And you sold it to a South Korean company, Lotte. And then you decided to come back into the ice cream business. Now, my question actually, there are two questions. One is, could you just briefly tell us about the non-compete? I mean, how many years did you have to wait? One. Secondly, did you consider other businesses before you decided to come back into ice cream?
Okay.
Over to you.
So like you rightly said, third generation food entrepreneur. My grandfather started ice creams and restaurants, and my father grew that business. I scaled it up, and then we exited one part of the business, which was the ice cream business. Non-compete was there. It was a standard non-compete. I think about 5 years or something on those lines, and obviously we honored all of that, and then we came back into the ice cream business. And to answer your question, actually the fundamental question, what did we do for those 5 years, right? So
Actually,
we never left the ice cream industry. We ran a very small boutique ice cream brand, and we continue running it called Huber and Holly. So that is one. So it's called Huber and Holly. We have about 20 plus stores now, and we also have a FM.
all in Ahmedabad?
No, all over India. In fact, we have Ahmedabad, we have Pune. In fact, Pune is the largest presence. Hyderabad,
Okay.
Bangalore, Amritsar, Nagpur. So yeah, all over. Uh,
Okay.
and so we never really left the ice cream business. That's number one. What I did in these 5 years is that we started a protein brand called Fab, PHAB.
All
And the
right.
website's called getfab.com. It's more like a D2C brand. We also have a lot of offline presence. That also continues to grow and scale. In fact, we've raised capital there, which is now, it was co-founded between my wife and me. And now she heads that business. And so that continues to grow. But because I'm giving most of my time to the ice cream business, that's why. So it's completely now her baby. Along with
Okay.
that, we also had the restaurant business that we never exited, right? So we scaled that up from about 20 outlets to almost 100 outlets now, rather over
Wow.
100 outlets.
Wow. What's that called?
It's that's also called Hocco. So
Okay.
we had to change names everywhere, and erstwhile it was called those restaurants were also called Havmor, and then so we changed the look and
Oh,
feel.
so you kept the restaurant business.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
and
What, Ankit, what is Hocco? I mean, how did you come to this? It's a very, I must say it's a standout name. There
right.
isn't anything like this, but what, does it stand for something or what?
So, well, it stands for something that is kind of force-fitted. So it stands for
Okay.
House of Chona's Collaborative, right? We couldn't think of. So, we'd almost finalized another name, but it almost sounded like our erstwhile brand's Me Too name. And, we wanted to move out of the shadows. But having said
Right.
that, we have our family has a little bit of a soft corner for the alphabet H. So,
Okay.
so I said, let's do something with the alphabet H, and then we thought, okay, what can we do? And then, house of something, and then my dad joked with me that don't name it anything to do with Chona because you'll go sell my name someday or something like that. So obviously there's no plan to exit or anything like that, but. So then we decided, okay, well, House of Chonas, but that doesn't sound right. And so what if we abbreviate it? And a lot of brainstorming sessions later, we said, let's call it Hocco. And looking at the new age brands, the thing was that we wanted two syllables. We wanted it to be catchy, easily rolling off the tongue. It doesn't
Right.
need to mean too much because there are a lot of these companies that, I mean, just in the ice cream space, right? There's like a quality and all of that, which I mean, yes, they're the great legacy names, but the new age names are all like if you look at Zomato, Swiggy, Uber, they may not mean much, but they're very easy to roll off the tongue. And that's how
Okay.
Hoko was born.
Okay. That's good. So tell me, what was the gap? Because you grew up in the ice cream business. I mean,
Sure.
you were in that company for many years, but even as a child, you must have seen the ice cream business. You
Yeah.
must have understood the business by the time you were 18 more than people will understand in their lifetime, right? You're born in it. But so when you came back, or you were always in it, sorry,
Yeah,
but
but
when you launched Hoko, what was the gap that you saw? Because there are a lot of large brands. There's Amul, there's Mother Dairy, there's Quality. I'm sure there are many others. So what is the gap you saw? What is the opportunity?
so the single, biggest gap, people keep talking about how there have been so many new entrants that have come into the ice cream space. But, the funny thing is that there is nobody who has come into the ice cream space, I would say in the last decade or more than that, with in the mass ice cream space, where we compete, where the real consumption is happening. So, how do I put it? I'll give you some, brand names. Like, there is Noto and there is Getaway and then there is Minus 30. They're lovely brands, but they're competing or Go Zero. They're all competing for the health space or the really ultra premium space. But which was the last company that came in and said, you know what, I'm going to challenge the top five brands of India and do something new, cutting edge, at the 10 rupee price point, at the 20 rupee price point. And that's where I saw the big gap that innovation was happening, but at the premium end of the spectrum. It was not happening in the mainstream companies. It was just everybody was launching one new flavor, one new product. But, uh, we
It is a
believe.
very, I think, D2C type of approach, wasn't it?
Correct, right? But there was really no challenger brand. So in fact, we are the first brand that came out with a plant which could manufacture 50,000 liters of ice cream per day from day one. And now we're scaling up to almost 3.5 lakh liters for next summer. So that's the kind of scale we've seen, and that's what paid off for us. That was the difference we thought. And we are very. I mean, it's very cliche to say, but we are very very innovation led. We launch
Okay.
products that nobody else it's not like they can't launch, but they choose not to launch because it is very cumbersome to make certain products that we make.
Okay. I'll actually ask some questions about the peculiarities of this business,
Right.
because I'm sure if you have it looks like a difficult product to manufacture, to maintain, to distribute. It looks really difficult. So, but you said that this is the first brand in the mainstream ice cream business, but you are also priced significantly higher than other brands, aren't you? So I was checking the pricing online. You're about 20, 25, 30% higher than the others, no?
No. So the way it works, see, there is a complete different strategy for quick commerce. But when you look at our prices, right, there are about 150 SKUs that all these major brands have. Right?
Okay.
We are
All
priced
right.
at par. I mean, be it so everybody will have a choco bar for 20 rupees, a mini choco bar for 10 rupees.
All right.
These
Okay.
are your, I mean, again, these are your vanilla products, right?
All right.
Ours
Okay.
will a vanilla liter will be priced at somebody's will be at 160, ours will be at 170, somebody will be at 180. A
Okay.
quote will be at 25, 30 rupees, 40 rupees, 50 rupees. So all those there. But what do you talk about, right? Everybody cannot talk about their vanillas and chocolates. Everybody talks about their
Good.
innovation. And that is where, we are priced not higher, but we are such a differentiated strategy that there is no person who's competing with us in these products. So, for example, we launched a mango product at 150
So,
rupees.
so you said our strategy is very different. Could you describe it?
Our strategy is that you need to have the base layer of your products that are going to be priced at par with competition because there
Okay.
uh, the price elasticity is significantly lower, right? So
Correct.
you cannot price yourself out of the market. So we are at
Correct.
par. Again, competition would have a 10 rupee cup. We'll also have a 10 rupee cup, the smallest
Okay.
SKU, right? And then we'll have a 20, 25. Then, but and that is where I say that we are not priced higher than competition. We are at
Okay.
par. Where we are priced higher than competition is where there is no competition, right? So, uh,
Correct.
where we have, for example, we have at least 20. So we have, everybody has a sandwich ice cream at 30 rupees. Okay. Somebody would be at 35. I think ours is 30 or 35, but that's where the pricing is. Now now instead of saying we'll make a bigger sandwich for 40 rupees and all that, what we came out with is that we baked our own cakes and we made a cake sandwich ice cream. Right? Instead of having a biscuit sandwich, you have a cake as a sandwich, and that is priced at 60 rupees.
Okay. And is
Yeah.
your target audience different from, say, any of the leaders in the ice cream business? I mean, are you targeting a different type of younger audience, more metro-based, or what? Or is it the same audience?
The audience remains the same. The ice cream eating audience is very, 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 who we believe we like everybody wants to talk to the younger generation. We don't believe in talking to a specific generation, right? We just want to be,
Okay.
having said that, but we definitely want to be associated with a more, and again, a lot of cliche here, but with a more fun narrative, right? We don't want to be serious. Most of the ice cream brands today are very serious. They tend to get a little more emotional. We are like, we want to have fun with it, right? So um, we'll come up with a hip hop, a song for our ice creams. Our mascots speak to the younger, like to children. And Now we are doing for Diwali, we are doing a collab with one of the largest FMCG brands of India, and we're going to launch a mithai based ice cream. So that's the kind of stuff we're doing across all. Like the entire gamut of the society. So there is no, I would not want to say, because the answer what everybody will tell you is that we're talking to the Gen Z. We say no, we're not talking to Gen Z, or we're not talking to the millennials or anything like that. In fact, we rather than talking to anybody, what and very interestingly, what my marketing team always tells us is that we don't want to talk to somebody. We want to have a communication. So we have, if you see even on our Instagram, social media, all of that, we are always trying to have a dialogue with the consumer. So whoever talks to us, we're always happy to talk to them. And that's so we have a whole team that is actually interacting with the consumers every day.
That's very interesting what you said. I never thought about it. That the existing ice cream brands are very matter of fact. That's true. I mean, they don't have. You could have a lot of fun, but they don't actually, right? Not.
Yeah.
I mean, not so much, right? So, what packaging was a big. So one was flavors, right, and creating products that others did not have. I mean, now I get it. The basic thing, we'll compete head to head at the same price, but then we'll create products which you don't have, and then we can price them higher. Was packaging, because I saw that, and the was packaging a big aspect of differentiating your brand?
100%. I would say the overall logo, look and feel, we spent a lot of time deliberating on that, right? So packaging, I think, packaging has to stand out, and it has to look different from the competition to break the clutter.
Hmm.
Because like the word edge, or rather like the alphabet edge, even red is a color that is very is something, the creative agency, the brief I gave them was, I'm okay with any color as long as it is red, so uh and it's like what Henry Ford used to say. So
Huh.
and
I know, I know.
yeah, yeah.
Any color as long as it's black.
Yeah, so
Correct.
and then that's the thing, because they showed us about 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 colors: yellow, blue, purple, this, that, all that. But we just had to choose red. And funnily, more than half the ice cream brands of India are red color. But if you look internationally, there are no ice cream brands that are red color. Most of them are all, if you look at Ben and Jerry's, Haagen-Dazs, name the top 10 brands of India, of the world, they're not red. But it's a very Indian phenomenon to have a red color brand. So
But
now
but but then why did you choose to have red when others had red as well?
there are certain things you're just used to seeing in an ice cream brand and that you resonate with. So,
Okay, it's the color code of the category actually.
no, it's more than the category, it's also ourselves, that, uh, for example, somebody will say, oh, this looks very similar to your erstwhile brand. it is not by design. It's just that, well, we were responsible for designing that. Like when you look at an interior designer, you can tell that this project is similar to that project of theirs, right? So that's where the challenges come. So we have to actually put guardrails and
I
say,
know,
we
I
will
know.
not try and copy anybody. We will create our own identity. And we worked for one of the leading creative agencies of India, who's done a phenomenal job. We still work with them on all our packaging. And, we wanted to be louder, we wanted to be bolder, we wanted to be fun, we wanted to be younger as, we wanted to feel younger, so,
Okay.
and that's what worked well for us.
Tell me one thing, Ankit. You mentioned that your capacity is really enormous. I mean, from you started at 50,000 liters per day. Uh, but your scale up from some 30 crore plus to 220 crore plus, right? Is astounding actually. You're not talking about going from 2 crore to 14 crore, which is 7x also. But on a base of 30, getting to 220 is a lot. So why I understand that you're probably well funded, you have experience in the ice cream business, but why was it necessary to build so much scale so quickly? I mean, of course, there must have been a reason. Was it that there's an advantage of a scale at a certain level and you needed to get there? What was it?
So
Or were you just impatient?
it's a little bit of everything, but I would say that, like my investors would say, and that when you have tailwinds, make the most of it, right? When you have headwinds, that's the time you'll have time to consolidate, you'll have time to cut costs, you'll have time to reflect on what to do differently. We've just got tremendous tailwinds,
What are those tailwinds?
so the tailwinds have been the biggest thing has been our the team that we've put together, right? Now these are all our entire team is our they're literally, I would say, I mean, I'm very proud of them, and I can say this, that they're royalty in the ice cream industry, right? They've all come from they've had experience in the similar field, and they understand distribution, they understand. So they along with the Chona name, which my father obviously has earned along the way in the ice cream and in the restaurant space. It is also the team that we put together, right? And they have their own goodwill that we got, and we've actually cashed in on that, right? When I say cash in means we delivered on that. Right? So saying that, oh, if your team has experience, then there is a sort of comfort that comes in. So that was our biggest tailwind. Along with that, I think we had massive tailwinds for our the innovation that really clicked in the market. So people who actually, competitors, the retailers were actually lining up saying that if you give your these five differentiated products to me, I'll convert from my current brand to your brand. Um, so,
Okay.
so that is the kind
Okay.
of so the
Okay.
personal
You
goodwill of the
needed enough
people.
spread. You
Yes,
needed enough spread to get the retailers on your side.
yes,
Distributors. Yeah.
and
Okay.
no, no. What I'm saying is the differentiated products, the goodwill of our team, that and along with the overall ice cream category growing was something that it is anyways growing. So I said we might as well cash in as fast as possible. We'll have time to consolidate in the future.
Ankit, tell me, I remember reading that the ice cream category seems to have grown fairly fast post-COVID. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And why is that? What is the reason?
So the short answer is nobody knows.
Consider.
But my assessment of the thing is that um, ice cream consumption in India generally was very low.
Correct.
And so people ask me, why did you get back? There's a lot of FOMO also that I expected the category to continue growing, but not this fast. Uh,
Okay.
and I think it's a combination of many things, right? Number one is just the overall infrastructure in the country. Power was never available in almost half of India for more than 12 hours a day. So ice
Correct.
cream was a luxury that was unheard of. It was literally that it was actually a luxury, right? It was never a daily consumption item. That's number one. Number two is the advent of quick commerce. I think quick commerce has just changed the game. It has democratized the entire supply chain
Quick commerce has worked also for ice cream.
massively.
You
See,
know, it is, Ankit, it is amazing the kind of categories which have been impacted by quick commerce. I mean, even basmati rice. I mean, who would think? But tell me why has it worked for ice cream?
so most of India, okay, I would say 99% of India has between 0 and 1 refrigerators at home.
Correct.
Right? Now,
Of
in that
course.
refrigerator, there is a freezer. In that freezer, I've said this in the past also, that there is ice, there is fish, there is chicken, there is curd, there is whatever, there is amras, there is all of that. So
Correct.
people always went out. Ice cream was an impulse category, right? Nobody came and got it home to store or brought it home to eat because it melts in 15, 20, 30 minutes. So now what has happened is post dinner, you won't have an ice cream. You can go to Swiggy, Instamart, Zepto and just order it, eat it, and you're done with it. You don't need to store it. You don't need deep freezer space.
Wow.
So many times I would send ice cream to a friend of mine. He would call up and say that, listen, you sent me 4 tubs. Where do I put it? I have to sit and eat two of them because only two are fitting in my freezer. So, now that has changed. You'll order exactly how much you can store or you want to consume. So that has been a big, I think, thing that has changed.
How much of your sales does QCOM account for now?
So this year it'll be between 15 and 20% this financial year.
Wow. They 25, 20. Amazing. And you think that's the kind of percentage that might be true for other brands as well?
No, I think the weighted average would be somewhere. See, there are some brands that are 100% on quick commerce. But I would
No,
say
I'm sorry. I mean the mainstream
a
brands.
large, no, I think it'll be lower. I think it'll be lower. It'll be around the 10% mark. We have a separate team for quick commerce. We are very, very focused on it. It's one of our most, like focused categories that we want to, or rather channels on which we want to grow. So we have separate SKUs for that, separately priced, separately, because you cannot sell, for example, low price SKUs on quick commerce because the economics don't make sense. You cannot sell
Correct.
10 rupee product there. You cannot sell it. So you have to create larger. So for example, you have to create pack of six and pack of eight, and so that's what we have a whole team working on that separately, and that's why we're getting the
Okay.
kind of return on that effort as well.
Okay. Ankit, um, when you went from 30 plus to 220 plus crore, did most of the growth come from wider distribution? Was that the fundamental thing? That's one question. Second question is, what is your target for this year?
Okay.
Revenue target? Both.
So obviously it's a combination of both, right? It came from wider distribution, but the bottom line is that we've grown in every market that we've entered. So to give you context, the 30 crores we did in year one was 95% was from Gujarat. In year
Okay.
in year two, when we did the 220 crores, uh, so let's assume we did about 27, 28 crores in Gujarat. In year two, we did 160 crores in Gujarat. So of course, and this year we are already on the trajectory to cross 500 crores. So so we are talking financial year. So April, May, June, July, August, right? We are in September. 5 months we have already crossed the last year's entire year's number. So we're on track to 500 crores in revenue this year.
Wow, that's very impressive. If you do 500 crore, what number would you be on the hierarchy of brands in India?
I would still say that there are at least we'd be about I think we'd be about ninth or tenth or something like that in India.
Really? How large is the market?
The market, see, it's broken up into two parts. So there is the organized sector and the unorganized sector. The unorganized sector actually is not growing because now with the GST coming down to 5%, it's even going to get harder for them to.
Correct.
But if I had to, if the number that what I keep hearing around it's about 25,000 crore rupee market.
Okay, so you lot of uh,
Yeah,
room,
2%.
room to
Right?
grow.
Yeah.
Tell me about some of the peculiarities of the ice cream business. So one, you described that at home people don't, basically people often didn't have because बिजली नहीं थी, fridge में जगह नहीं है. Right. That's very interesting. Actually, nobody would think of it. Uh, I mean, nobody outside the business would think of it, that this is the reason why ice cream consumption may not be growing because people don't have place in
Also,
the.
sorry, I was going to say just one more point was that, the government is giving such subsidies for cold storages, right? So the overall cold storage, like you look at the number of companies that have gone IPO in this cold chain infrastructure, that has been a huge thing also. So I'm just saying overall infrastructure has been massive. We have become a power, from a deficit to a surplus country, right? So our power costs have come down. So overall cost of manufacturing. So all those things have played its part in India. So
Ankit, so uh, so Hocco has its own cold chain distribution.
yes.
Everybody has their own. Is it like that? Is that how it works?
Yeah. So that's what I said, right? So we are the one of the few companies, or probably the only company that came in from day zero in the last decade with their own supply. So we took that risk, right? So and it paid off. Now I'm sitting here talking to you because it paid off. Otherwise,
That's true.
because the like every startup, if it was not funded the way we got funded, would be that, okay, you start with few SKUs, you rent one truck, it does well, then you rent another. We came with saying, no, we've got our own fleet, we've got our own cold rooms, we've got feet on street, and we took that risk and it paid off. So,
Okay.
yeah.
When you look back, I mean, it's 2 years, 2.5 years. What are the advantages and disadvantages of being a latecomer in a mature business?
I mean, there are a lot of disadvantages. The biggest disadvantage being that you have to fight for freezer space now. So for a shop, what the number one thing that you need to fight is the real estate at the shop front, right? Because the deep freezer is kept there. To
Correct.
convince that person to remove a competitor's deep freezer and to put your deep freezer is very difficult. So I think that is a huge, huge challenge for us that we face even today, but we have our ways and means, and that's the whole fun of competition, right? Or
Correct.
to convince them to add a freezer, or we try and live in the competitor's freezer and all of that. So that is a huge challenge to come in there. But obviously there are more. The disadvantages are that you're a new brand. You have to spend more. The, Something as trivial as our cost of setting up a plant today is much higher than what it was 10 years ago. You
Of
know,
course, that's
just
depreciated. Yes.
yeah, but it's huge, right? Just because the post-COVID the costs have gone up, and even now if you look at a lot of our machines are imported from Europe and all that, so we are struggling. We're already renegotiating. The euro has gone from 88 to 103 in the last 2-3 months,
Correct.
and our machines are just coming in now. So for the next summer, so those are the challenges that everybody faces. But the advantages, right, are that we know this industry, uh, and we know that what is lacking in the industry. When I say lacking, means the innovation, that we know that our probability of success is higher. So you know, how do you differentiate from the clutter? It's just and learn from other people's mistakes. And I think quick commerce has been a great leveler for us. And when you're a new company, you have nothing to lose anyways, right? So you're like, what's the worst that can happen? Let's have fun with it.
You mentioned the word innovation several times. In which area are you proudest of your innovation?
So the proudest I am is actually there are four products I would say that I'm the proudest of. The first and foremost being this ice cream called the Amchi. It's a mango ice cream shaped like a mango. We priced it at 150 rupees, and we're like, it's quite, it has to be made by chefs, and it's quite labor intensive, and we're like, you know we don't think it'll do that well, but ideally we should price it 200 because each product has to be literally handcrafted and all of that. So we priced it
Wow.
150, thinking that, what, we're doing this only for brand. It caught on like wildfire. I mean, to the extent I have videos of uh, a shop guy, a pushcart vendor in Delhi saying that somebody came with a gun and put the gun on his thing, saying that if you don't give me an amchi, you're in trouble. He said, but I'm sold out. What do I do? The company only gave me six to sell, and I've sold them in 1 minute. We've had people who have had fights with each other, like I'm talking
Oh,
physical maramari to get one amchi. So
wow.
those kind of stories. We got.
What a
I
great
think I'm
what a
ready.
great feeling, Ankit.
I'm ready to pay 5,000 rupees because I'm proposed to my girlfriend with an amchi. So we actually packed one amchi and sent it to that guy. I said, you better send us a video for this. So that was one product. Then we had this ball top cone called the O cone. Again, 100 rupee cone. We thought it'll not sell. We'll figure out if it sells. We'll not be able to keep up with. Today, it's our number one selling product. Like not number one, but one of our top selling SKUs.
Yeah.
Then we have this cake sandwich which I told you, but nobody in India is doing it. It's actually we got inspired from Japan. In Japan, these cake sandwich ice creams are quite popular. The sando sandwich ice creams, and then just right now, Ganpati, only for 15 days, we launched a modak shaped ice cream in flavored like modak, like the coconut, and only
Really?
for Maharashtra, because we learned from Amchi, that we cannot keep up with demand, and sometimes it backfires. You think you're doing a limited run, but when people don't get it, they get actually. So we said, what, we'll only uh, push this in Maharashtra, and again, it flew off the shelves. So these
Oh,
are some of the
good.
products that come to mind from the get-go. There are a lot of other products as well, but
Yes, sure. You've seen the ice cream business for a very long time. How have how has consumer attitude to ice cream changed?
right.
Just in a broad sense.
So So I know we discuss this all the time, so I have a very clear this thing. People's willingness to experiment has gone up significantly. Uh,
Okay.
right? To give you a sense, 10 years ago, butterscotch was the number one selling flavor. Okay. In fact, world over, it is vanilla, chocolate, strawberry. In India, it is vanilla, butterscotch, dry fruit, chocolate, and strawberry doesn't feature in the top 10 also.
Okay.
So now people are experimenting with dark chocolates, with the Sicilian pistachios, and so it's a lot of fun to actually be in the industry right now. There is so they're willing to experiment. They're willing to pay a slight premium to or slight, a significant premium. Like we launched a kunafa sandwich ice cream, and it sold like hotcakes to the extent that we had to discontinue it because we couldn't manage the kunafa supplies, and it just get a little soggy after a certain time. So we said, we rather not sell the product than have it compromised after 1 month on the shelf. So, but that has changed a lot. And again, as I said, overall consumption has gone up. So at-home consumption has increased. And one other phenomenon that we are seeing is that there is definitely a shift towards a slightly a segment of society that has become health conscious. So that category is growing at a significantly more rapid pace than the regular ice cream industry.
It's still a very small
Very
segment,
small.
isn't it? Very small.
But
Hey,
everybody
Ankit,
in
tell me
our
one
circle
thing.
talks more about it. So you feel
Ankit,
you know what it is.
okay. Ankit, tell me one thing. You said at one level, people love the unusual flavors, the even international flavors, right? On the other hand, they also love the local flavors, like a la modak, for example. So which one? I mean, is there a contradiction in that sense that they prefer international, or they prefer local, or are these two different types of people, or people just want something different?
Actually, that's very interesting, Shrikant. The kulfi segment has blown up. Uh,
Really?
yeah, like it is insane. We launched these again. One of the innovations, right? Everybody does a matka kulfi. We did three different matka kulfis. We did a pistachio
Okay.
matka, we did a kaju anjeer matka kulfi, and we did the regular rich, dry fruit matka kulfi. It has blown up. So to answer your question, it is the same consumer who's just tired of eating the vanilla chocolate strawberry who wants to now try. So they will have the kulfis also, they'll have the modaks also, and they'll have a Ghana sea salt dark chocolate. In fact, one of our new flavors that is sold to our surprise a lot is sea salt caramel popcorn. So
This sea salt has become very popular all
yeah,
over, I
yeah,
noticed.
yeah,
Huh?
yeah.
It's
Uh,
everywhere. Tell
yeah.
me one thing. So the consumption is exploding. Which segment is growing faster, uh, um, in home or eating out?
Hmm. As a percentage, eating out still remains a much larger segment.
How much larger?
I would say still right now also it would be about 70% would be eating out. Uh,
Okay.
and the at home is increasing faster again thanks to quick commerce.
Quick call. Okay.
Uh, so
Uh,
see, and also there was some level of saturation on the eating out part. Like Delhi, how many more push carts can Delhi take, right?
that's
Uh,
true.
yeah, so and so the actual significant for us, we are the anomaly because we're new. So, for us, we'll grow on
Correct.
in every which way. But for the legacy players who have done well over the years, for them, I think their real growth is coming from at-home consumption, is what I would say, uh,
Okay.
is my
Hey,
guess.
how important are parlors? Do you have them? Your parlors, I mean, just your parlors,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
exclusive.
We have
Huh?
about 50 odd parlors now.
Why are parlors important? Because how many can you have?
So, okay, so parlors are important, but if I guess what you're saying, parlors are getting more and more challenging to run, just because the rent to revenue ratio in India is just not, it's not very conducive for the parlor business. That's one. And again, two, till 10 years ago, there was no Swiggy, Zomato, and all of that, right? So now, when you pay, say, 20% of your revenue in parlors in rental, then you pay another 20% to, or 20 plus percent now to your delivery partner. So the parlor
Correct.
business just doesn't make sense anymore for most players. But I still feel if strategically located. So most of our parlors, we also have our F&B outlets connected to them, our food, our eateries. So we have Hocco eateries as well. So together,
Okay.
they make a lot of sense. Standalone parlors, um, again, you have to have the right business, decision sense that smaller parlors with low rentals, more visibility. So you have to take a call. What is
But
marketing?
unless you treat them as 3D hoardings, then does it make sense?
Yeah, it does right now, but then
Not
every
enough.
Indian businessman will be like, at the end of the day, you know how many, how many of those can you have, right? You can have a couple of lost leaders. You can say that, oh well, this is my Linking Road equivalent or my Khan Market equivalent, that I will do losses here and all. But uh, for example, we have a parlor at the airport that probably doesn't make money, but okay, that just our feel good factor. Every time we take a flight, you see, oh yeah, see my I'm
Right.
here. But business wise, it's getting harder and harder. Let me put it that way.
Okay. All right. When you go from 220 to 500 crore this year, where will that growth come from? It's which are the states or geographies where you will pick up the bulk of that extra 280 crore?
So, we've been pleasantly surprised with all our markets. So we are probably in about 7 states now. So I would say the best performing states are Maharashtra and Rajasthan. Uh,
You're going the contiguous state way,
yes, yes.
Gujarat, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, etc.
Yeah, but now we're also putting up a plant in North India. So the North India will become our again one of our focus markets. But the plan is very clear that in the next 3 years we want to be a pan-India player. So that's what we're targeting. So we are right
So
now at
what kind of turnover would you need to have to be a pan India player of some size?
1,000 crores.
Okay, wow,
So
that's
very
great.
clear. Yeah. So
Great.
uh,
Uh, Tell me, I have actually so many questions, but okay, how do you see advertising and promotion? What's your view of digital marketing, social media? What's your broad view on this?
So I, so I have a very, very clear, again, not very clear, but I think what we've done and what's worked for us, right? Again, is not, we are very clear that we don't want to go to the whole endorsement route and get celebrities to dance around the product. And, it's just, we've shied away from that. We get a lot of these offers also, that equity for, endorsements and all of that. What we have spent all our might and mind behind is the social media aspect of things and the digital marketing bit, right? Because that is where you can actually pick up conversations with consumers. You can have quick conversations, quick, instead of doing one big campaign for the year, we are doing something new every month. And that is
Okay.
what is, working well for us. And we are putting our product as the hero everywhere. I mean, again, everybody says that, but instead of spending a crore on marketing, we are saying, you know what, we'll put a crore on developing these products. And then we hope, again, very cliche, but we hope that they go viral and people will talk about it. But by the way, we've pretty much stopped all paid promotions and all of that. Like, once in a while we'll still do it. But so we get our goal is, we incentivize ourselves by saying how much organic growth can we get, and that is what is really the test of our reach, because, or the brand pull that we are getting, and that's what we've been focusing on.
So
um
your thing is that you create a product or packaging or both, which is so exciting that people want to talk about it on social media. Fundamentally, is that
100%.
right?
Yes. And that's
Wow.
our next product launch. I don't know when this is going, but we're still finalizing. But you'll see something Diwali. We have collaborated with one of the biggest brands of India. And it's,
Yeah, I noticed you're clearly excited about it because
yeah,
you
yeah. So
mentioned it
it's
earlier.
again,
So
nobody's seen, no, it'll be the first in India. So
you can't talk about it now, can you?
depends when you're going to air this, right? So if it's going to be in 20 days,
It'll be next week, I think so.
then by then, yeah, but yeah, it's going to be something that, again, it's going to be first in the ice cream industry. Our challenge is, again, like, for example, I'll be very honest, this product didn't do as well as I thought it would, and but I'm still hopeful it'll. We launched this product called Bijli. Okay, Bijli
Okay.
Khao on Ho Jao. It was India's and probably the world's first and only caffeinated ice candy. Uh, it's like, think about Sting Red Bull, but in an ice candy.
How
I'm
interesting.
personally not a
Okay.
big caffeine drink, but I used to see, a lot of these young guys, and then I was like, this is not cold. So like, how would I said, how cool would it be if I had to, and I saw this somewhere on YouTube or somewhere where they show how they freeze the candy. I said, well, let me do that for you. But the communication, and there's a slight bitter aftertaste because of the caffeine and all of that. But the caffeinated ice beverage market in India is booming. So I thought, there'll be a first of its kind. We'll do something crazy, but it didn't really. It's not yet taken off. I still think that
This is the one you're tying up with some brand for.
no. This is our own brand.
Or
The
this
one I
one.
am talking about, the FMCG one, that is a we're doing a very
Joint.
traditional thing. That is for Diwali. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, but my last question, Ankit,
Yeah.
which is that you are in this unique position where you were you were in a business you're very familiar with. It was a family business. You ran it, and you're one of the leaders. Okay, now in version 2.0 of your life, you are the challenger. You are the outsider, as it were. Okay, you are an insider in the sense you know the
No, you're
business.
right. Right. Yeah.
Right, but the brand is an outsider, right? What does it feel like, and what have been the big lessons for you, both nice and not so nice, in the Hocco journey?
No, so the first lesson has been that it is not easy to create a brand.
Okay.
Uh, right.
What surprised you about that?
No, just when you go out and it takes it, there is a reason why it takes 50, 60, 70, 80 years to create a brand at times, right? So my first learning was that, uh, I mean, I shouldn't say this out in public, but my first learning was that we sold our earlier brand way too cheap. So, so, and it takes a lot to build a brand. And my dad makes fun of me. He said, "You sold your first brand to put all the money in the second brand." So the only one who's laughing to the way to the bank is that the government for all the taxes you have to pay and all of that. So it's okay. You live and you
Yes,
learn.
sir.
So I think, but
So one is creating a brand is damn tough. Is
yeah.
there anything else which was like surprised you at just how difficult it is?
It is just the momentum to get from 0 to 1 is way harder than from 1 to 100. Today,
Oh,
that
absolutely.
the first year, the second year, like think about putting together a team of 200, 300 people with no revenue. And like right now, as I said, I'm talking all these honky dory things, but those sleepless nights and all, it was a lot. It was a lot. I think I aged 5 years in those 5 months before we launched. But as I said, it's all worth it now. And so it's just having faith and not questioning yourself every time, So that was a big one for us. But as I said, the best part was, just the team we put together, and I can't be more grateful for that. So it's
Okay,
all worth
wonderful.
it. Yeah.
Great, yeah. Ankit, this has really been very interesting.
Thank you.
I mean, I knew it would be an interesting conversation. It really was. And I look forward to seeing as you go from 200 to 1,000 crore.
And I look
And
forward to
then
being
we'll talk
there.
again then.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I look forward to our next conversation soon.
Yes. Thank
Thank
you,
you for
Ankit.
your time.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Bye.